Hello again. Welcome back to the Better Together podcast. My name is Mike Baker. I know that I say this every week that we have an exciting show ahead, but I mean it every week. And this one is going to be an incredible conversation. This week, we're interviewing Adam Schlüter with Monday Night Dinners and Hello from a Stranger. You are going to hear a story today that will change your life if you listen to it. It's so easy right now to look out into the community and see a bunch of hatred and division, and also to have all of that impact your mental health. You're going to hear a conversation today about somebody that's harnessed all of that and decided to make it change. It was incredibly moved in this conversation, and I'm so excited to share it with you. So we're just going to go ahead and get right into it. This is Adam Schlüter. All right. Well, Adam, thank you so much for being here today. Everyone else I've interviewed, I've known before. We've had chances to meet, and this is one of the first times where we've had a guest on where we've seen each other in the community, but I haven't had a chance to sit down. I want to start. I just love the work that you're doing. It's one of those cases of Facebook stalker probably, but I've watched what you've been doing with Monday Night Dinners and seeing just the growth and the challenges and everything that you've been facing. You're so good at telling your story at that. So when we were able to reach out and kind of tie all this together, I was so excited to get a chance to meet you. So welcome to the show.
Thanks, Mike. So excited to be here.
We're going to have a great conversation today, but let's just get into it. How in the world did you end up in Coeur d'Alene? And sounds like, this book really, there's a part of the journey that got you here. So tell us all about it.
Yeah. Okay. I was born in St. Louis, Missouri, and it's kind of wild. I mean, I'm the only person in my entire extended family on any side of my whole family that left St. Louis.
Oh, wow.
No cousins, no aunts, uncles, brothers, sisters. Every person's in St. Louis. So to me, I just needed nature. St. Louis is such a cool place, but I've, artist, photographer, whatever. But it's flat and it's industrial. So I actually just went out on the road. I don't even know, 15, 17 years ago, something like that. And just drifting, traveling around, kind of just, exploring and finding myself. And so a few things had happened, but I ended up in Mexico. I lived in the Baja, northern Baja, for 4.5 years. Yeah, Have you ever been?
I have been. Beautiful.
Love northern Baja, man. I love the whole Baja. So in Mexico.
Anywhere by a beach is great.
It's so cool. And it's just so simple. It's the same as California, but because, it's a border, you have California, but there's no people there, It's like rivers, ocean. So I was really trying to find myself. Actually, before I was chasing some dreams and just realized it wasn't what I wanted in life. And so I went down to Mexico, reset, became a part of a beautiful community down there. And I was down there for about 4 years. And I was in my late 20s and always been ambitious and just wanted to do, I had big dreams with, purpose and things like that. And so, but I didn't have a lot of money. I was broke in Mexico. So I didn't know what to do. So it's kind of funny. And I was like, I got to figure out something. And I decided to reach out to some outdoors, some adventure brands and stuff like that. And I asked them to sponsor me on an idea. I just totally made it up. Totally made up the idea, off the cuff. And the Northern Baja is on Highway 1, the Pacific Coast Highway. Yeah. So you have Highway 1 that goes all the way from the southern tip of Baja, which is Cabo, to Alaska. The same highway. Yeah. And I was like, I don't know where I want to move. I don't know what I want to do, but I would love to find somewhere along this Highway 1.
Love it.
So I just came up with this random idea. Hey, would you sponsor me if I travel from southern Baja all the way to Alaska? And I pick the best place to live out of all three countries. Just following Mexico, America, Canada, right? And bunch of places said no, and then one said yes, which was Eureka, a big camping brand.
Cool,
yeah, super cool. So they sponsored me. So I was like, cool, I'll just do this. So I ended up spending 10 months on the Pacific Coast Highway, went 22,000 miles,
my gosh,
never left
amazing.
it. Yeah, and just loved it. There's so much beauty all along it, and I loved it. And I was literally in Seattle and hadn't left the Pacific Coast Highway. And I was staying with a friend there, and he's like, "Hey, you're gonna go to Glacier National Park, right?" Yeah. And I was like, "No, dude, I can't go to. I can't." He's like, "I will kill you if you don't go to Glacier." He's like, "Go to Glacier and come back, and then finish your dumb little idea." And so I went to Glacier, and it was so funny because actually got to Coeur d'Alene, and I had never been to Idaho in my whole life. Never even heard of Coeur d'Alene in my whole life. And I stopped to get gas at 90 and 95, you know? So I was like, oh, this is trash. It was like bowling alleys at gas stations, you know, it's like commercial stuff. And so, but it's nighttime. So I was like, this is trash. Like, and so I left. And so I went towards Kellogg. So I was on my way to Glacier. And, you know, you go over the bridge and that gorgeous view, right?
So
it's
beautiful.
nighttime. I couldn't see it. And so I just thought Coeur d'Alene sucked. Yeah. And so I spent the night in Kellogg, and then they heard what I was doing. And they were trying to get me to pick Kellogg as like my favorite. And I was like, no, this isn't really like what I'm looking for. And this guy's like, have you seen Coeur d'Alene? And I was like, yeah, it kind of sucked. He's like, what? He's like, did you see it? Because I hadn't seen the lake. I hadn't seen anything about it.
Yeah.
And he's like, go back, see Coeur d'Alene. And he goes, have you seen Sandpoint? And I was like, no. He's like, go back, see Coeur d'Alene, and go to Sandpoint and take Highway 2 over to Glacier.
Yeah.
And by doing that, then I saw Coeur d'Alene, fell in love, and literally picked it as my favorite. I ended up going up into Canada, but it was just in my heart to come back. So
it got its hooks in you early.
Got my hooks, yeah.
I'm glad it got a second chance in the daytime. We're pretty lucky for that.
I'm grateful for it. And it really was the people. Because think of that, you know, Highway 1, like there's endless beautiful places that I saw. It was so much more than the beauty, the nature. It was just, it was how it felt. It felt like a community. It felt like a home. And I was coming from Mexico, where in Mexico, like, you know your neighbors, you're in a community. So I was really searching for that.
Oh, I love that. When I was growing up, my family would always do an ice cream party at the end of the summer for the whole neighborhood, right? So everyone would bring over bananas and ice creams and toppings. And I mean, we would have an ice cream party. And then my dad would start a water fight at the end. But like some of the most powerful memories of being a kid, right, happened on the front porch, in the front yard, surrounded by neighbors, talking about how life is going. And I was a kid. Like I wasn't having the adult conversations that they were all having. But I just remember, you know, my dad would do a water fight at the end. And so everybody's out going crazy. I just remember watching all the adults just sitting there laughing and smiling. And even at that point in my life, like I felt like this is what community feels like. So how did you end up into this, let's have dinner together and Monday night dinners? And what was the whole, like, how did that, all of that come together?
That's a big thing. I moved here, still didn't have any money when I got here. You know, I was still on this wild trip, you know, just on sponsorship. And I picked Coeur d'Alene, didn't know obviously a single person here, didn't have any money at all. In fact, I went to the Starbucks in Post Falls, I remember, and I'm refreshing Craigslist, like for our places day to rent, you know, I had nowhere to stay. And I was camping for free at Rose Lake the whole time until I could find a job. So I had nothing when I moved here. And I found this house, the house that I own now, where the Monday night dinners are. And I went to go see it, and I told the landlord, a good friend of mine now, his name is Sean, and I said, I don't have enough to even, like, for the first month's rent, can you prorate it? And, like, don't do the deposit. He's like, I need the deposit, but, you know, I'll prorate the first month's rent. And that was literally, I had nothing left after that. So, and that's where the dinners have been ever since. But I was just grateful. You know, I was used to, I've had nothing in my life. I've gone through a lot in my life. So I was just grateful to have a home and, you know, roof. And I got a job at 315 Martinis and Tapas, Chris and Bob, some of my closest friends still to this day. So I got a job and started making a little bit of money to pay the rent. But I had moved here with a girl. There was a girl with me on this whole trip, who's the girl that I thought I was going to marry. Finally, like, we're off the road now, like, you know, we get married, have children, all this stuff. And I realized many years later that a lot of this trip was running, escaping from some, you know, some deep stuff, obviously. And you're on vacation mode when you're on a trip like that, right? So as soon as we settled down, some of those things came back for her. And she ended up cheating on me and breaking my heart and, like, just destroyed me, you know, like, just because I had given so much to this relationship. So here I am in a town where I don't know a single person. I have no money. Completely depressed, heartbroken, and then I went into the first winter time in the Northwest, which is
and
ruthless.
That's the soul goes away.
Ruthless.
That's why you go to Mexico.
Exactly. I was going the wrong direction.
Exactly.
And I'm thousands of miles away from my family, who I love so much, and it was just it was a very dark time. And I'll be honest, like, you know, then I moved from Mexico, and in Mexico, like, you always know your neighbors. You're in a community, and here I was in Coeur d'Alene. I was like, I don't know how to even, like, talk to people. Like, everyone's kind of in their homes, you know? And so literally it was in a very dark place and questioning life and what to do. And I looked at a world map and I decided to take this trip. I booked the cheapest international trip I could find, which was to Denmark, which is a horrible idea because that's one of the most expensive cities in the EU that I didn't realize till after. But I was in a very dark place since I didn't really care. I had nothing to lose. And I just decided I needed to scare myself. I needed something out of my comfort zone. I was really worried about my mental health, that I'd make a bad decision if I didn't wake myself up. And so that's what I did. I flew to Copenhagen, Denmark with just the money I saved up with tips from 315.
Yeah.
Just a few $100, literally nothing. Yeah. And on the plane ride there, I was like, I feel so alone. I feel so isolated. I don't know how to and I'm also a more introverted person, so I don't know how to connect with people. And I thought, I'm just going to go, and I was taking pictures. I'm just going to walk up to people and just ask for their photograph in as many countries as I could. And so I reached out to Eurail, who runs all the trains in Europe, and asked them to sponsor me, and they said yes.
That's so cool.
And so I just went in, literally nothing. I had no social media, no website. No one knew what I was doing. I was just on a very fool's errand, crazy moment. And I ended up doing 19 countries that first trip, living off nothing, just riding, sleeping on trains, bouncing around. But I had I had nothing to lose. I had no fallback plan. So just to walk up to people, and I just kept, trying to connect with people. And I was rejected so many times. It was so, I remember the first night that I was there, I literally threw up in my Airbnb because I was just terrified of this idea, but I had no fallback plan. Yeah. But I ended up learning that all this vulnerability that was because it scared me and I was so out of my comfort zone was what really allowed people to open up to me. And then I'm having these incredibly impactful conversations with people that
I bet
that are not from the same country, that don't speak the same language, but they're pouring their heart out to me, a total stranger.
Right.
And I felt so seen in that. They felt seen in that. So that saved my life. And I came back from that. And it was funny. I came back, literally saved my life, and came back to Coeur. I was like, I still don't know a single person in this town. So I
just met people all over the world.
Yeah.
And you developed that skill set, obviously, to connect with people, which is so powerful.
Yeah. So literally the same thing. I just did it in Coeur d'Alene. And something in the world, when you really want to connect with a stranger, you always invite them to have dinner with you. You create that intentional space to have time to talk, And so I just thought, I'm going to walk around Coeur d'Alene and just invite strangers to have dinner at my house. I had nothing. Literally, still didn't have any money or anything. But grocery clerks and bank tellers and I was the weird, awkward guy. And I literally didn't think a single person would show up. And 11 people came to the first Monday night dinner.
That's so cool.
We had a broken picnic table and we had burnt mac and cheese and water, literally.
And probably the best meal ever, right?
Yeah.
Those first ones are always the best.
The simplest, because they're so intentional.
Yeah.
And everyone sat around that table and they said, hey, we need this too. And I was like, if you guys need this, I'm dying here. So let's just keep going.
I think it's so powerful, right? So I love the active decision to keep moving. So, obviously we do a lot of mental health treatment here at Heritage Health. And one of the things is just make it through the next minute, next 5 minutes, next 15 minutes, but that motion, go and be active. And because you can easily spiral and stay isolated, and that's it's just not healthy. Humans were not designed to be healthy. And then just to go out, and I love how you said, I need something that's going to scare me, kind of open up the doors, get you out of your comfort zone. That's when growth happens.
Absolutely.
And then, you talked about you kind of find yourself in that space when you're losing yourself. And just, one of my favorite things in the world is just meeting new people and hearing their stories. I've done a lot of work in healthcare with my daughter's endometriosis. And I have people that I've met all across the world that I've never met, but they're telling me all about their pain and suffering and things that they're going through. And I feel like I have these incredible friends, and it all comes from just opening yourself up to be there, to meet these new people and make these connections. And
that's community in itself.
Right.
Just that, you being a part of that. Yeah.
Just trying to, build that community. And so it
creates support, and it creates, connection, but also support, and it helps others heal, and it helps you heal, and it helps you kind of navigate that fragile process, I'm sure.
And I think you just realize the humanity in everybody. So social media is so good at telling us that everyone hates each other and divisions, what's really happening. And I've said this multiple times in the community lately. It's I've never actually seen a fist fight break out of the grocery store, walking down Coeur d'Alene. People are happy and generally life's good. Yeah. But then you go to social media and everybody hates each other. And I'm that reality it's not reality. And you find humanity sitting around the dinner table, which is incredible. And so,
and you and me could think totally different politically, religiously, or whatever, who cares? And in person, we can navigate that. Totally. We can talk about those things. It's not a confrontation. It's human. We've been doing this ever since humans have been around, you know, it's
and
like
the campfire
and a campfire. Yeah. So, but you need eye contact,
Right.
you need, you know, time and a little bit of space, you know, to have those conversations. And yeah, online it's just, this, and you're this, and I've already judged you because you're this, and none of that's real. You know, it's all just a trick and a game. So, that was a big part of the dinners. It's like just sit around the table, and we have thousands of people that come to them, and it's like I'm sure there's tons of people that feel differently and think differently, and like, you know, but you just don't see that come out. There's so much more that unites us than divides us in person. You know,
absolutely, and I love that. And it's sad that that's not the type of activity that gets the most attention. Like, we have had really awful things happen in Coeur d'Alene, and that seems to have defined us recently. That, you know, we are this. Versus, you know, I mean, 2 weeks ago, we had the whole community together, and the tribe is sponsoring scholarships for all the students. And I mean, you have this room filled with this positive energy, great stories, like investing in the community. And that definitely hits our local news, but that's not what people necessarily think about Coeur d'Alene. And I think we have to do a better job telling that story. So
yeah, I couldn't agree more.
Yeah.
It is, I mean, it's telling of culture also, and it's also like where we put our attention, you know.
Right.
I mean, so many things. I worked in TV when that was I was an agent with that. And then, you know, we made a show. We have a show on this, Hello from Stranger. And, you know, it's funny. We just literally pitched the show. It was like 2 weeks ago, Netflix. And they came back and literally said, we love everything about this. We love this story. We love, and I don't care about that, you know, but it's like everything that they love. But they said, it's far too sincere and far too heartfelt for it to ever work on TV.
Doesn't
and I was
that break
like,
your heart?
Yeah, I was like, what?
No, we need more of that.
Yeah, and you know what they said? And I respect this too, but it's the market. But they said there's not enough conflict in this. And they said people want conflict. They want some drama. They don't want the feel good, you know.
We can have one episode where we have a bar fight or something.
Isn't that
That's
wild?
great.
Yeah, that wild. So it's like the funniest thing in the world. So it's
man.
yeah, it's more telling. And I think we need to do better with where we put our attention and what we, you know, these algorithms and stuff is just giving us what we give our attention to. So,
well, and I mean, it is intentional. I mean, I think these are these tools that people are using to keep us distracted instead of realizing, I really don't care who you voted for. I don't care what, like, we all worry about our kids. We worry about having stronger communities. Tell me more. So let's talk more about like what happens at a Monday night dinner. Walk through just like a little bit of how the logistics happen, and then tell me a story or two of like what you've seen when you get random people together to have dinner.
Oh, I love it. That's it. I mean, that's I think the beauty of this is like we've never had a plan, you know. It's just literally like come together, have dinner. Like we can't, you know, we've never made a penny with them. We donate everything back to the community here. So it's a lot of just bringing people together and creating the space and then kind of getting out of the way, you know, and everyone knows that I've said for 9 years, this is not Adam's thing. This is not a party. It's not Adam's event. This is literally.
Everyone wants you to own it.
Yeah, but it's like, it's all of us or it's none of us because I can't do it by myself. Right. It's not sustainable. We make no money with this. So we need volunteers. We need people that are a part of, you know, the foundation of it. And also like, there's many that I'm not able to be at, and you can still have the yard for it, but it's not my thing, you know? So people need some guidance as far as maybe the mission. But what I've seen is the most incredible thing is, we always have this thing, you have to bring a side dish of food. Potluck, you know, old school block party potluck stuff, right? And that's really because we don't have the money to provide all the food for everybody. Yeah. But what I realized was so cool is it actually gives so many people so much purpose because now people are making homemade recipes. Now people are thinking about it next week. And then people bring this dish of food and they sit back and they watch other people just gnaw it, you know, eat it up, you know, and everything. And they love it. Our grill master, Kyle, is grilled for 100 plus of our dinners. And it just gives people this purpose. Like they're a part of this thing that's so important, you know? And that created the sustainability for what we have now. And then with the bands, there's this interesting moment where it's actually one of the biggest moments I think that shaped the dinners what they are today. And the dinners were always small. The first few years, because we never tried to make them big. It's not a party. We're not trying to make these a big thing.
Bringing people together for dinner.
Yeah, and it's just
there's only so many people that can fit in the kitchen.
Yeah, well, and we wanted to sit around the table and talk. And the bigger they get, it's a blessing and a curse. But it's harder to do that, have that intimacy, right? And we had a dinner. I don't know, there's maybe 20 of us, something like that. And we would always spend the night at the end sitting around the fire, like holding some space. You want to talk about anything, like anything's okay to talk about. Ask for help if you need to. And we had this gentleman who had been at quite a few and still friends with his family. And his name's Justin Red, and close, wonderful human. And we sat around the fire. We had this beautiful night. And it's all about seeing each other, it's like not forced, but it's like ask for help if you need to. And we were sitting around the fire, and Justin's sitting right next to me, and we're sitting there, we're talking about some other stuff. And he goes, "Hey, I'm going to go home." It's like, cool. And he gets up and he gets to like my back deck where like the back of my house is, and he turns and he says, "Adam, don't ever stop loving, man." He's like, "You're so full of love." He's like, "Don't ever stop loving." And I was like, "I'm never going to stop loving, dude." And I gave him this big hug, and I took my friend Jack, and I was like, "Hey, go home with Justin. Make sure he's okay. I'm not really sure what that's about."
Yeah.
And Justin went home, and Justin took his life that night, committed suicide.
It's just heartbreaking.
Oh, it broke us. It broke us, man. And I was just like, I was actually like angry about it. Like not angry, but I was just like, how do you, that's what we're doing here,
Exactly.
So I've been through a lot of that. I've lost a lot of friends to that. And there's usually, it usually breaks people apart because of the grief and the difficulty of it. And I said, no, like we're doubling down on this, dude. Absolutely. So I brought in our first band, which was The Powers, one of my favorite bands. Yeah, I love them. And they moved to Alaska now. But I brought in the first band ever. It was just massive, just like celebration, but also holding space. But I got up and I was like, no, guys, like we are here to listen, to pay attention, to be there for each other. And then I saw the music change things and everything. So I just said, well, everyone pitch in $5. Everything goes to the band. We'll start bringing in bands. And then we started bringing in bands. And I said, well, everyone pitch in $10. And that's what we still do today. And then we just brought in all these bands, but the music allowed so many more introverted people to show up, people that aren't just there to talk, which I respect, but need to be around people. So those two things really shaped everything, bringing in the music and allowing everyone to bring in their own side dish to give it some purpose.
I love it. Well, and it's just like I've said for years, I mean, my favorite conversations happen around a campfire. I mean, life just comes into clarity. I think it's 1 a.m, coals are there. I mean, you have the deepest human conversations during that. And I love that side of it. And then music is such a uniting component, in the world. And, it doesn't even matter what type of music it is. It's that vibration, that energy that's being created when people are sharing an experience around that. And it's incredible. I love what you're doing.
Thanks,
so
Mike.
Powerful. Yeah.
It's something about just being outside, that intentional space around a fire, and nothing's forced, but you have that. A lot of conversations today are like, they're fast, expedient, text fast, all stuff. We don't have a lot of space where we can just sit there and like whatever comes up, it's a special thing. And again, to be in person. So.
And you have to, force yourself to create that time. I mean, life just gets so busy. And I have a good friend of mine, he comes over midnight after hockey, and he brings me carne asada tacos, and we have some whiskey, and we sit by the fire and talk. And it's just but we solve problems together, and we talk about heritage health, and we talk about life, and we talk about all of these things where you can't really separate all those things, like our jobs and our families and our community. We're all here to try to make them better.
Not cool.
It's just powerful.
That's what we've always done. We've always done this.
I know. It's like, that primal back to the. I think it's back to the fire. We need to do a podcast episode like by the campfire. That's going to be our next one
with a low acoustic guitar.
Exactly. It's amazing.
It's what we've always done. And these cell phones and social media and COVID changed so much about physical connection, but it's like it's in our souls. It's intuitive, for us to actually spend time to just share the journey of life, man. It's like, you don't need anything crazy there. It's just like sharing. How are you doing? What do you need help with? Those little beautiful human moments.
Well, just building community, I mean, it's heartbreaking when we lose people in our lives, especially, to suicide. We've had people here, and I think everybody wonders, like, could I have done one more thing? And I think there's also that space. It's such a reminder that I don't know what tomorrow's going to look like. And so I want to fill my memory with campfires and friends and conversations and community. And I think if everybody just, steps back for a minute and just realizes that, man, get away from the social media hating and like go have dinner with a friend, or a stranger, a stranger, and just get to know people, and you can see how the world can be better.
Yeah.
Okay, so this thing has grown. So you started out with 11, 12 people around a broken table. You brought in bands. You saw growth from that. We should talk about the TV project here, the renovation of the yard. And I mean, like, that's such a cool story of people seeing the value of that And then let's talk about what's happening for this summer.
Yeah. I mean, something, again, like we always wanted them to be small, but we're never going to exclude anyone. But like, COVID was a big change and where like everyone needed this so much more. So we're just allowing them to grow organically, but we've actually struggled a lot. We've struggled with the city. We've struggled with asking for parks. We've asked for a lot of support. And again, not making any money. It's like, we need help and support because they're just growing rapidly and they're growing now 20, 30% year after year. So imagine like we had some that had 500-600 people at them last year in my backyard, a tiny little Craftsman. Yeah. Now, how do you add 20, 30% to that? So we're very fortunate to work with the Eagles this year and have their pavilion now for the first time. So they'll be really big there. But also they're moving around the country. People are starting them around the country. Yeah. A wonderful little group in Cheney just started one a couple months ago. There's like 100 people that are going to their Monday night dinners now. And one in St. Louis, one in Oakland, one. And again, we don't like part of the nonprofit is we also help people start their own. We give them things that they need, tools to start their own, but it's like, it's not my thing. Like everyone can start their own thing, and the world needs this more than ever. So kind of growing with that. So yeah, we're very like with the yard. And they'd grown, it was the same yard with 11 people with 600 people. Yeah. So it's like, what do we do here? And the city has been cool with us to where like they haven't shut us down. And all my neighbors are so awesome.
That's great. Yeah.
Love us and love the music and everything. But it was unsustainable with the growth, So, and also to cook for that many people. We do all the hamburgers, hot dogs, bratwurst, in the flow of people and like just, it was congested, Yeah,
so it's a lot.
Yeah, we're really fortunate to get Ask This Old House picked us last year to fly out. It was the coolest thing in the world. Yeah. I'm so done with this stuff. I had never even heard of This Old House and Bob Vila and all stuff. Yeah. It was so cool that like, so many people are like, oh, I learned how to use a hammer from that as a kid.
It's how you learn everything. It's before YouTube. You had to watch TV to learn.
Bob Vila, man, it's so rad. And so they picked us to come do a full backyard renovation, which is the coolest thing in the world. And their whole team flew out and they spent 4 days and we did just a massive gut. And what was so cool is like they are there to, support and they have the show, but also they needed the community's help with it. And so we just went out to the community and everybody showed up in our community here, donating time, effort, materials, everything. And we did in 4 days what would probably take 3 months to do it. Like it was insane.
Those things are amazing. Like the shows where they build the whole house in an afternoon. Insane. I'm like, whoa, insane. Humans can do really cool things, but we work together.
Yeah, exactly. And a mission, we have a mission here. Like, let's do this. And we had to get it done because we had a Monday night dinner that Monday. They wanted to all be at it. That's right. So we started, I think it was Thursday. And like Thursday or Friday, either one. But we're literally like 20 minutes before the Monday night dinner starts. We're still going. There's still bulldozers. So it's like out and moving everything around. And like 10 o'clock at night, there's bulldozers going in the yard and everything. But we did it. And it was just one of the coolest things in the world. Yeah. And to see that dinner after that, man, it was such an incredible turnout. But like to see the yard, to see everything kind of have so much more structure and foundation to make it sustainable is very emotional. My dad flew up for it. I cried like a baby.
I would imagine. You should be so proud of that.
Thanks, Mike. Just like all that we've been through, never thinking that. Remember, I started this because I needed this. Right. I was in a depressed, dark place. Right. And now to watch this, it's like, how did this happen? It doesn't make sense, But just the world keeps supporting it, showing up for it. And then the episode went out. Tons of people watched the episode. Now tons of people are reaching out to start their own. And it just feels like the whole world's kind of coming around it. So
that's so funny. I mean, so we had our breakfast this morning. One of our board members was speaking today, and she said, she decided to get involved because, she wanted to help, but she recounted a story of how her life has been helped because of her willingness and desire to go in and provide service. And it's that same thing. Like as soon as you start losing yourself, you find yourself, and having the world just kind of open up. I mean, it's actually okay to be a little selfish every once in a while and say, I'm going to do this to take care of myself. But what you do with that, where you're saying, I need people around me and I'm going to invest in traveling the world and learning how to talk to people and then coming back and building community and then watching that spark light. I mean, it's got to be so powerful to see that spreading across the country. It's an incredible thing.
It's uncomfortable.
It's terrible.
Yeah, because
it's horrifying.
It's uncomfortable.
Exactly. And you always have people that are hating on, people are like,
always.
And it's like, okay. All those people have so much noise and it's always online.
Yep,
versus dude, just shut up and show up and have a chicken sandwich with us and let's talk this through.
We'll love on you no matter what. It's all good. If you're mad at us, you can talk to us. It's okay. Like really mean that, there's a lot of imposter syndrome, it's just this
Totally.
weird thing that it's like, what, how, like we've never had anything. And like, the biggest thing for me is like, and I don't say it slightly, like these dinners saved my life because I really knew coming back from this project, I've always struggled with mental health, always struggled with depression, and ups and downs. So I needed to build a lot of support, but also like structure around it, to not let,
purpose,
like what you're saying, like, cause I can isolate myself and I can fall into a deep space and stay there for a long time. And I realized if I am going to survive and make this, I need support and accountability to like be in my yard, like not somewhere else,
not
like
just
to where
chill
like
and watch Netflix, right?
I can't isolate myself because they're coming and people need help. And also, so that to me was really impactful. But now we have dinners or people that come to these dinners that say that they saved their life and multiple people. And I don't say it lightly, but it's like, these saved my life. How did this ever happen that these are now saving other people's lives? And it's an honor. It's just such an incredible honor. And
such an incredible example. And, it's back to our founder, Lidwin Durney. I mean, she immigrated from Holland, showed up, saw a problem, worked on it. And like her famous phrase is just never give up. And, it's kind of that same thing. Like you just never give up when people are doubting you and watching it. And I've no doubt like you've impacted thousands of lives by doing that. And oftentimes we don't hear the whole story, but isn't it so cool to be a part in someone's story 10 years down the road and they show up and say, I was in a really dark place and that chicken sandwich saved my life. And I mean, what a cool, powerful thing. What's next for you guys? So let's talk a little about, so you have Monday night dinners and then you have off Monday night dinners. Let's talk about that a little bit because that's another cool element. And then let's talk about kind of the next steps, how people can connect and let's go from there.
Yeah. So this season will be our biggest season yet. We start on May 25th this season, Memorial Day. We've kind of ran them until end of October, but the weather's so spotty. So we'll be doing May 25th to September 14th, every 2 weeks from May 25th all throughout the summer, all at Eagles Pavilion in Cherry Hill Park. And then in between, we do little pop-ups in the backyard. We still want to use the backyard, even though we can't have the big ones in there because of that. We saw this renovation. We want to use it. And so the off Monday night dinners was a really interesting, just random idea of thinking, Coeur d'Alene, we can bring so much more art into this, so much more culture, theater, stand-up comedy, improv comedy, poetry, like just use this yard. And now that, we have the space for it and we can do the audio and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But one thing that I don't love, but there's nothing to do about it, is these bands are incredible at the Monday night dinners. I'm pinching myself it's like, this is insane.
How did this happen?
I go to their concerts and now they're in the backyard, right? And remember, they show up for nothing.
Right.
Like we promise them $0. It's only what people do. And it's incredible. I love giving them thousands of dollars to thank them. But, there's tons of people congregating. That's the whole point of it. But these bands finish these sets and no one's really just listening to the music, So I don't love how that feels as someone. And for them, so I always thought, why don't we try a dinner concept where we do what we used to do. We all sit around a dinner table, no music, just make it hard for people, but in the right way. Or, the music in many ways can be like a crutch in a good way. But, and then we do that from 5:30 to 7, hour and a half. And then from 7 to 9-ish, we stop and we all sit and we're an audience for some art, whatever it is. So we brought in tons of cool art last year. Again, improv and theater stuff. And so that's kind of a way also that keeps the dinners smaller. Again, we don't exclude anybody from them, but we just know how to kind of keep them a little bit smaller and helps people that just want to talk and the music can be hard. But also to support so many other pieces of art that we can in our culture. And also we're bringing in other pieces of art from outside of just Coeur d'Alene to help this community thrive. So
it's amazing.
We won't be doing that last year was a lot because we had a Monday night dinner every 2 weeks.
Ask, and then you do have to have a little time to recharge, right?
And I am an introvert. So it's like some of the dinners, I literally sat on the roof and it just like, I saw, watched, but so we won't be doing that, but we'll be doing a lot of pop-ups and
that's so cool.
Supporting some cool stuff with that. Yeah. And those, so the main Monday night dinners at Eagles Pavilion and the off Monday night dinners will be at my house at the original place with the backyard.
That's great.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, all of this takes resources to put together. So let's talk about sort of some fundraising you're doing. Heritage Health is going to be, we're a sponsor of the dinners this year. How can other people get involved? What does that look like?
Yeah, and thank you so much.
Of course, we're so excited
really
to do
mean
it.
that.
Yeah.
Like you guys are one of the biggest sponsorships that we've done, so we're grateful, man, and what it takes to keep these going. I think there's this thing where it's a blessing and a curse, but kind of can see how we've fallen in some things where people think, oh, I don't need to donate because like someone else is going to donate it. And then you kind of fall into this trap. Or also like, I don't need to donate because the dinners are going to happen no matter what, you know, if I do or not. But that's not true because they can't actually. So dinners now are about $600 per dinner just to run just basic, you know, costs of just that. And some are more because, you know, we have other, you know, if we need non-alcoholic drinks or, you know, other stuff with it. And so they can be $600, $800 per dinner. We do 16 a year, you know? So, and on top of that, really trying to remove stress on the music, on everyone having to donate for that. And so, we're in a round right now to just start this season. We need $4,000, which is pretty minimal for where this is, you know? And then, but to actually run this actual season would be about $25,000 that we need to raise to be able to run the season. And then that will just create the infrastructure that we can to have all the things that we need. So we have a GoFundMe, we have a Venmo that goes without the fees on that, and all that's on the Monday Night Dinner page. 100% goes to the Monday Night Dinner, stays in our local community, and we're a nonprofit too, so it's all tax deductible.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
I mean, and you know, that it's such a smart investment for communities. So, I mean, if you're out there and you're tired of just watching bad news and hate about our community, look, $25 going this way goes a long way, and then show up, you know, come to dinner, come check it out, come be a part of this community. I mean, this is how we cure our community. I mean, it is truly sitting by a campfire, getting to know your neighbor. I believe there was, you know, some really wise religious person that said you should love your neighbor more than yourself, right?
Never heard
and
of that.
it seems like that's great advice,
Yes.
you know, as you go through that. And here's how you put that to work. So instead of just hating your neighbor and not connecting, maybe think about it another way. So that's great.
And I really want to say, like, we love this community. So we're in this together. Like, you guys, us, you know, this is not like an individual thing. The support that goes to Monday Night Dinners, we also want to offer that support to you guys, you know, as a thing, and to all the people that support it. So a local business that contributes, you know, we have 5,000 people on our page now. It's 5,000 locals from our page too. We want to support you guys every bit as much. We want to do posts for you guys. We want to let people know. And just that's how we all protect and take care of each other in this community. It's not all money going to this or this. It's just like we take care of each other in this community. And it's just
I've always felt like all the nonprofits, like we all donate to each other. So I feel like it's like the same money recycled through every nonprofit because we all just keep showing up for each other. But that is what I love about this community. I mean, the nonprofit, even the for-profit businesses in town, like people want to build community, and I think people are aching for it. Yeah. And this is such a great example of making that happen. We're so lucky to have you in this community.
Thanks, Mike.
I hate that we've both been here this long and haven't had this conversation yet. I'm looking forward to many more of it. You are pretty special. Thanks, you so much for being here today.
I really appreciate it. Yeah. Got to give credit to my mom. She's the one that
she's
taught me.
Amazing, right?
And I got to say,
Happy Mother's Day
this
weekend.
Yeah, to her. My mom literally is the one that started Monday Night Dinners 30 years ago when we were kids in St. Louis.
That's so cool.
Just for nothing, you know. Yeah. So this is in her honor. She's still alive, thankfully, but this is in her example. So
I love it. Well, I love it. And I mean, you know, and that's how I grew up too. It's like, you know, again, sitting on the front porch with ice cream parties. Like you can see the power of that and turning it on into something that builds community. Yeah. It's super powerful.
Just simplify life, simplify connection. So
I love it.
Thanks for the
time, right. Mike. Well, thanks for being here today.
Grateful, man. Thank you. Appreciate the spotlight.
Well, hope you guys enjoyed the episode. I'm going to listen to this one lots of times. So listen, I know every time we do these, we ask for support. Everybody that's listening, jump in, help out with the fundraising, and also show up. You know, let's use this as such a good news story for our community. Let's build community. That's how we improve health. That's how we improve our community. It's how we actually just restore humanity. And all it takes is sitting around a campfire, having dinner with somebody, which is amazing. So we'll see you guys next week.